Welcome to a couple of bunkies. Welcome to part 2 of our 2-part series on how we made hanging lights for our kitchen and living room renovation. We ended up having the live edge wood sanded down, joined together with bow ties, and we did epoxy pours on both the front and back of the projects. If you'd like to watch the full video and not just the recap, consider clicking on the upper right hand corner. There should be a link that will take you to that video. I need to stabilize the bark on all of these pieces in order for the bark to stay on. I paint over all of the bark with Total Boat epoxy so that hopefully the bark won't fall off in the future. Now I sand down all of the pieces one more time. For me, it always feels terrifying to do this because it looks pretty good the way it is, but it really needs to be sanded down in order to take off any high edges and make it baby butt smooth. Now I take each piece and reapply epoxy. And I do the same process again for the bottom side. I was once told that every 1 coat of epoxy is the equivalent of 50 coats of polyurethane. And the more and more I use it, the more I can say it's probably right. Now for the tooth-end boards with the bow ties, I kind of had to epoxy pour around that one cherry board that I created, and I had to attach it to the frame. I countersunk the board and then put in 2 screws to attach it to the future light fixture. I had to make something in order to attach the ceiling to make it look more decorative than just an eye hook. So I went ahead and selected a piece of walnut and cut it into 2-inch strips. I attached a round over bit to my router table and started rounding over the bottom portion of these walnut boards. I quickly ended up sanding them down. And adding epoxy around the boards. I tape off the area where I'm going to drill holes for the electrical wires to go through. And I repeat this process on all 4 lights. We're using this rope light cord we found on Amazon, and these lamp socket pendants. The process goes: run the cord, cut the cord, pull the cord cover back, strip a small portion of the wiring, and attach the pendant bulb socket. Put the cord cover back down over the socket. This does not make it look pretty, but we're going to pretty it up at the end. And we repeat this process a ton of times. It helps to tape and then cut the material within the tape. This helps it so it doesn't unravel while you're working on it. After all the hanging lights are done, I take out the decorative pieces that are going to be attached to the ceiling. I work out where center is, and I measured about 2 inches from the end of the board, and I drilled holes in all of these so I can attach eye hooks later. On some of the boards I was working on, I noticed that some of them needed a little bit of a high polish, so I polished them up before adding the lights. I followed the same procedure as earlier. We found this rope twine, and we did some wrapping knots. This made it look a heck of a lot better than what it was. And I continued doing this procedure for every single light. Using these lever wire connectors, I was able to hook all of the lights up parallel. All I had to do was stick the wire in and flip the lever so it would lock into place. I wired a temporary electrical cord so I could test the lights. The contractors had installed these mounting brackets that were up to 120 pounds. So for two of the lights, I had to use this canopy kit. I would throw out this crossbar and I would add a new crossbar that would hold at least 50 pounds. I attach the crossbar to the ceiling junction box. I attach and then thread the cord through the canopy light kit and attach the canopy light kit to the crossbar. We repeated this process twice. I used 3/4 hemp rope in order to hang the light from the ceiling. And I lashed both of the sides of the ropes together, securing it with sailing twine. Now I repeat this same process for the next one. And there it is. 2 done and 2 to go. On the last 2, I had to use the board that was going to hold them up to the ceiling and drill holes into the attic. Then I placed wooden dowels into the holes so I could see where the holes were up in the attic. So when up in the attic, I could find the dowel sticking up, attach a 2x4 between the joists, re-drill the holes for the eye bolts, and then attach the eye bolts and the walnut strip. And it's good to connect everything electrically while you're up in the attic. And repeat the same process as before with the 3/4 inch rope. So you can start hanging and attaching your lights. For these lighter ones, I just taped the ends and I spliced it later. This was so I can find the exact size on each side because of the board was wider on one end than the other. Once I was satisfied with the ends of the rope, I tied them together and secured them into place. Later on, I added sail twine and threaded the knot so it would not go undone. And did the same procedure for the other side. And now it's time to hang up the last one, the heaviest of them all, 20 pounds. And there it is. I hope everyone enjoyed watching. Please consider subscribing. If you're interested in me making some custom projects, consider going to bunkieswoodworking.com and get a quote.